Lovecraft, Episode 9, Rewind 1921. Here we go. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my spoiler review for Lovecraft Country, HBO original series, Episode 9. So it's a breakdown and we're talking about spoiler moments. So if you haven't seen it or don't want spoilers, do not watch this.
On one condition.
Jump down in the comments, let me know how excited you are, which is your favorite episode so far, which is your favorite moment so far. Let's get into it. So this episode, we saw a lot of timey-wimey stuff again. Obviously, by the name of the episode, it's called Rewind, and so they go back to 1921 to see where things started happening. They named the Book of Names to complete a spell to heal Diana from the demons that she was cursed with. And so when last we saw Diana, she had her arm just being cut up. This time it's the curse has infected her and she's starting to look a bit like a tree or a demon herself. And they do a kind of exorcism trying to restore her, to buy them some time. Meanwhile, Diana's mother arrives and says, "What's happened to my daughter?" And she has all the knowledge because she's been living for like 200 years already in timey-wimey space-time. We saw that whole episode with her where she's done that. Now she goes back to the teleporter that was broken. They have to fix it and they jump through time, they go backwards in time, and there we have this, for the majority of the episode, this whole adventure of them reliving the past for some, also seeing the past and the riots that happened and the whole big instigation that the night that everything got burnt and blown up. And I thought, wow, from going from the previous episode, which was very monstrous but still to do with color and racism, they go straight back into that. I felt this episode again had a lot to say about color. It's very prominent in the storytelling, even so much so if you looked a little bit harder at the themes, you could tell that under the underlining story as well is about color. Most of the white people in this series are the cops that they're cursing people. They could be classed as monsters themselves. I think you definitely could. In amongst a series of actual monsters and magic, most of the white men and ladies that are doing with magic, they're doing the wrong things. The cops are beating African Americans, but also using magic in ways that you shouldn't be doing. And at the whole time, it's almost comparing white people to being monsters, which they a lot were at the time, and their use of just complete hate on anything that's different from them and them thinking they're a master race. And that's kind of the story that we see our main characters in, and they go to a time and place when it's even worse and they have to relive this past, and it's quite dramatic. Again, the acting in this episode is phenomenal. Some standouts. Again, you'll see some great monologues or emotional moments where
no idea what you're walking into.
So, you have that kind of Back to the Future law. Do not touch anything. Do not do anything different. Otherwise, you're going to change the past. We have that similar aspect here in this episode. But at the same time, what these timey-wimey episodes often do is when you do start interfering with the past, that was always meant to happen. And so the stranger that comes and helps them and saves them was Atticus. I always like that kind of style of writing when they write that sort of story. In a few episodes before, shows the massive plan they've had in the writing, and then they show that to us again in this episode. And so now we're left with the last episode, wondering if Atticus is going to die because he's had to make a bargain to be able to get the Book of Names. And so in order to save Diana, they've had to risk a lot. Although Atticus already knows how he's going to die, but he's willing to save his future son and his partner. And so we have people willing to sacrifice for the greater good, for the family. Although also this magic does seem to be bringing out the worst in most people. The series is also very gory, violent, and sad. I felt those three genres are just mashed into this whole episode. When it's gory, it's like people having their heads blown off. When it's violent, it's actually physical violence that hurts when you see it happen. And when it's sad, you're emotionally almost eviscerated. You're like a gut punched. And that was playing throughout the whole episode, as well as the expertise in filmmaking with the acting. So there's one particular crane shot that flies through the window and the camera kind of pans out and pans down, and it's that sort of visual premise that the expertise of this series has been going along throughout the series. So no matter what you thought about this series, I doubt very much you could fault the cinematography, the way the film is put together, and the acting. I think it's been phenomenal. I know some people have had some issues with the storyline itself. They feel like it's a bit convoluted, it's a bit all over the place, and sometimes it does feel like that. Although I do feel like there's a tangent of stories, and it's been drawing itself around to that fruition that we're going to get in the last episode, because already we've seen a lot of storylines kind of being roped from the past. They're explaining things that happened. I feel like, and I hope so, that the 10th episode is going to be that. The final episode, I'm hoping, is going to be all out craziness. And if this series is anything to go by, that will be the case. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Which one's been your favorite so far? Who is your favorite character in this? Or your favorite monster? And what are you hoping they'll do with magic? So many questions, so little time with one episode. Thanks so much for watching this episode breakdown and kind of review. I hope you're enjoying these. We've got one more to go this series. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.